resuming my interaction with you, again I am to recapitulate almost all the sources of information from which we have to shift the particulars or all the entities to our various ledgers, which would also help or which usually help to go for finalization of accounts and to find out the annual performance of an organization after one accounting period or financial period. While doing this same, I have discussed the first source of information is transaction statement. Number 2, journal. Number 3, subsidiary books. And in subsidiary books, already I have discussed regarding purchase book, sales, purchase return, sales return, bills receivable, bills payable, carriage inward, carriage outward, your cash book also, but this is a special book. Cash book is both journal as well as ledger of cash. Still, cash book can also be categorized as a subsidiary book. And apart from this, your opening entries, closing entries. Opening entries is done exactly in the commencement of, during the commencement of financial period, whereas closing entries are done at the end of the financial year. But apart from all these things, another thing is there, what is called journal proper. A particular statement or transaction which has no place either in subsidiary books or cash book or opening entries and closing entries, we are also to know certain journals are indispensably to be maintained. That is called journal proper. A transaction which cannot be placed in any of the subsidiary books and cash books or opening and closing entries, we can take the same transaction in our journal proper. Then we have to know that already we have learned that cash book are of various types: simple cash book, bank cash book, double column cash book, multi-purpose or triple column cash book, and the last is petty cash book. The petty cash book is also maintained for almost all the organizations which are exactly dedicated to the consumer at large or customers at large or society at large, because to meet the petty expenditure or petty requirements of the organization, some petty expenditures are inevitable by nature, for which it is not prudent to disturb as and when required to meet all the petty expenses of the organization, for which another man or another cashier other than the chief cashier, other than the main cashier, other than the accountant can be entrusted with impressed case. That impressed case is given usually in advance, and after completion of 1 week or 1 fortnight or 1 month, as the case may be, as it calls for, as it is required, we can do the same practice as suitable to our organization, and no matter whether the activities are more or less, but automatically some expenditures or some transactions are to come positively. That means sometimes you have to pay what rickshaw charges, sometimes you have to pay stationery, sometimes you have to pay wages, means wages to daily laborers, sometimes you have to pay for various petty expenditures for the gardening, for purchase of any tea, coffee, snacks, and almost all the things which are exactly meaningful for day-to-day establishment, day-to-day functioning of the organizations. So ultimately, the cash book, which helps almost A to Z of the organizations, irrespective of their differences, irrespective of their classifications on this planet or on this earth, is multi-dimensional, multi-purpose or triple column cash book. And what is the pattern of triple column cash book? We can do the same in our T form. Today is 18th. It is a cash book of triple column cash book. Of Messrs. X Pharmaceuticals on 18th May 2020. So this is date and particulars. Your debit, this side is debit and this side is credit. Particulars, then your ledger folio, then discount, then cash, then bank. In the debit side also we can start from debt, then particulars, again ledger folio, discount, cash, bank. And when we are going to start triple column cash book on a particular date for an organization, definitely it starts from to opening balance. The closing balance of previous day means 17th May 2020 is the opening balance of 18th May. So it is to be written on the top of the left side, means debit side of the cash book, triple column cash book, as to opening balance. First one is ledger folio, then discount, then cash, then bank. And again in credit side of the cash book we have to write down date, particulars, ledger folio, discount, cash and bank. Supposing on 17th May the closing balance of cash was 10,000, that is to be written down as 10,000, and the bank balance as on 17th May 2020, suppose it is 15,000, it is to be written. Then we are going to start to record almost all the transactions, cash transactions and bank transaction on 18th May 2020. Supposing we are drawing the cash from bank, we suppose cashier or the accountant feels that this 10,000 rupees on cash, available cash, is not adequate enough to meet the expenses, cash expenses of the organization on 18th May, he may draw or the accountant may draw certain amount of money from the bank. So what to do? If the opening balance of bank was 15,000, then if we are doing a cash drawing, then by cash we have to give an entry in the bank column. Suppose we are drawing 2000, then it is to be written on this side 2000. Because the bank balance of 15,000 is to be reduced automatically when we are drawing cash from bank, and to make it available in our cash drawer so that we can meet almost all the expenses which are supposed to be done on 18th May. So we are drawing cash of rupees 2000 rupees, and it is to be written in the bank column. Here already I have discussed that in three situations we have to go for contra entry, and number one is when check is deposited on a subsequent date. Number two is when cash is withdrawn from bank for personal use or for the for business purposes, and if cash is also available, cash is deposited with bank. These are the three circumstances which call for your contra entry. So here it is to be written in your ledger folio. We can write down 1C. Okay, and again on the same date we have to write it down to bank. The available cash, this cash what we have withdrawn from bank is going to increase our cash balance, so it is to be written in the cash column. Here it is also to be written as contra entry. Okay. Then the next expenditure is, suppose by salary. Salary has been paid, salary, and we have paid from our available cash of rupees 1000. So automatically cash is to be entered here 1000. Again another expenditure came, that is by impress system. Suppose from the available cash the cashier or the accountant is giving certain amount of money to the petty cashier as an impressed case or as an advance, that is called technically or accounting wise, financial accounting wise, that is called impressed money. So that amount is also to be given from cash by petty cash, of rupees 500. That is to be entered in the right side or credit side of the case. Here some more things we are I am going to share with you, because we know that business is nothing but mobilization of resources, starting from traders, starting from a retail shop, or maybe we can say a small petty businessman is also having the same practice. He is mobilizing his resources. It may be a grocery shop, it may be a retail shop, it may be a cha wala, tea wala, or whatever may be. Retailer has also to give top priority on cash, and cash is the backbone of the business, lifeblood of the business. And in larger case, suppose some wholesalers in pharmaceutical fields also, some wholesalers are there, some stockists are there, some super stockists are there, and at the same time at last some manufacturers are also there. For them also they are doing the same thing, mobilization of resources. Their activities are mobilization of resources, and resources are of many forms, but almost all the resources are being utilized by human resources, and through cash and liquid cash and the cash which have been deposited with the bank. So as such we can say money has become the lifeblood of human society or human civilization. So during the inspection, during a crisis time of the business, it is required to give top priority, at least to go for a check or verification whether the cash mobilization or the resources with the bank mobilization is being done meticulously, honestly, judiciously or not. Of course, here I would like to say something from my own personal experience. When I was graduating, I I was busy with some private firms, I was busy with some accounting works with some chartered accountants, and I have had experience to keep some financial records or to act as an accountant, though I was graduating, for manufacturers, those who used to manufacture not consumer items, producer goods. Here also I have observed the proprietor himself or the managing director of the manufacturing concern used to give almost all necessary focus on the cash, available cash, as well as the balance sheet bank. So naturally, whenever the proprietor used to come to our office, when I was a student as well, I was continuing my learning as well as earning, I have seen the proprietor used to give top priority to the balance sheet bank, various banks, with whom or with the banks he used to have the transactions. Apart from that, he always sought for information, what is the available cash. And I have also experienced why accounts, financial accounts is the backbone of business, backbone of almost all business. It may be manufacturing unit, it may be a trading unit, it may be wholesale unit, or it may be a consignment business, or at last it may be a retail shop. The focus should be always on our almost all the resources, but definitely the top priority is always given to the cash as well as accounting. Of course, we have not seen petty businessmen go for a financial accounting practice, but he does the same in his own mind. He doesn't go for using papers and cash book and all these things, but he keeps almost all accounts in his own mind, and it becomes a habitual thing for an experienced man. So naturally, of course, businessman and the accountant, cashier, almost all the users of accounts give focus on cash book even. If the cash book is maintained meticulously or judiciously or honestly or ethically, automatically it will be giving direction or scope to the organization to grow. Not only grow, we know that three chief objectives of the business organization should be there. Number one is survival, number two is growth, number three is social responsibility. These are the three major objectives before almost all the institutions, organizations, or companies at large, those who are flying or functioning in the market on this planet. So, triple column cash book is a part of financial accounting practice, which is exactly done by almost all the departments also, all the financial institutions also, all the educational institutions also. But to be very frank, it is a very matter of great concern that today, even in the year 2020, even many organizations, many departments are still following Desi system of accounting instead of double entry bookkeeping or financial standardized, internationally standardized financial accounting system. So that is a great crisis on the part of the institution, on the part of the organization, on the part of the society even, because that is an obsolete system of accounting system which were being followed by almost all veterans. Actually, previously in these days education has become very dearth, and almost all the people, almost all the segments of the society are giving priority to education, and automatically higher education is getting priority. But previously the practice was something different. After completion of matriculation or 10th standard was not there, 12th standard, people used to be employed by the organization, by the governments, by various governments, by state government and central governments, and after having 33 years of service after serving for state government or central government, some veterans come out and they work for the private organizations even, but they do not know what is double entry bookkeeping system. It is very peculiar, and in our country also, in India also, so many apex authorities are there as far as higher education is educational institution is concerned, and their work is to give focus on educational institution, how judiciously the education private educational system as well as government educational system can run well, and the original objective of our nation can be served at far. Despite the same thing, due to reluctance of our old and veterans, to whom definitely we should bow down, because due to them only we sustain on this planet and we have come into existence. And at the same time, I am not giving priority to education, because I have seen in my life till date that so many chartered accountants, so many cost accountants, so many company secretaries, so many chartered and financial analysts are there, those who have followed the books. And the books have been written by only mere M.Com, Master in Commerce, and sometimes the one mere M.Com can also write a book for the students, those who are pursuing professional education like company secretaryship, your chartered accountancy, your cost and work accountancy, and chartered and financial analyst. I mean to say that if you are doing your own practice, and you are means one person is having education and at the same time practical experience of accounting, he cannot commit any mistake. Of course, mistakes is unavoidable. We almost all of us are fallible by nature, but I have seen in my life those who have theoretical knowledge as well as practical, they have zero possibility of fallibility. Whatever may be, I want to share all these things because you should know. Here I have also discussed your carriage inward and carriage outward, what I have learnt during my practical experience. It was not there in the double entry bookkeeping system that carriage inward and carriage outward should be there treated as a subsidiary book, but it is wise. When we are spending something to bring our materials from various sites to our own place, and if the business organization, our business organization is spending that amount of money for the sake of the business, definitely that is to be treated in a bifurcated way. And at the same time, as a responsible businessman, if we are spending for our own customers, and after selling our product, maybe consumer product or producer goods, here, as because your management is coming under as a blending subject, what consumer goods are and what producer goods. Consumer goods are that goods or those goods which are fit to be consumed directly by the human being. That means we purchase soap, starting from our morning, we purchase brush, we purchase paste, we purchase soap, we purchase so many things, oil, that is all consumable directly. So these are consumer goods, and when producers purchase some goods from outside, and it is not fit to be consumed directly by the consumer, means as a human being, then these goods are to be categorized as producer goods. How? Suppose raw materials are also can be categorized as your producer goods. Raw materials are direct raw materials which are not consumable by nature by the consumer, for the consumer at large or human being. These products, like I mean to say, suppose you are producing your suppose bricks. To make bricks and to get it properly produced, we purchased or producer purchased your sand, silica. So silica is a producer goods. That is not fit to be used directly particularly for that business transaction. Sometimes we, for production of our, for construction purposes, we purchase your sets, but it is not coming under the same category. Where we are using being producer, if you are purchasing from outside, it is reckoned as, or it is identified as your producer goods. So when we are purchasing various products, it is also we have to pay cash or throw back. So again we have to come back to record our transaction statement, and again to shift the information from transaction statement to our multi-purpose cash book or triple column cash book. So again, suppose on the same 18th May 2020 we have paid by purchase. By a purchase, what we have paid from our bank, rupees 1000. Either we may pay through check, or so many instruments are there through which we can make our payment. So by purchase, it has also been maintained. Again, from the available case, suppose we are depositing certain amount of money, or again sometimes we have to pay to our customers by, for settlement, by Shyamlal. Suppose you are, from available case we are giving a sum of rupees 800, that is to be entered in the case column. Again, suppose with all these transactions, on the day, accounting day of 18th or working day of 18th May 2020 is going to finish, then, and we have seen that our available cash is what, 10,000 was to 10,200, out of which 1,000 has been spent, here again 500, here 800, so only 2,300. So suppose the cashier is not feeling safe to keep the cash with the available cash drawer, he may go for deposit of the same with bank. Suppose keeping himself a balance of rupees, but 5,000, he is to deposit the remaining. Suppose again here we have to drop down by bank, available cash by bank, and closing balance we have to write down here. Closing balance we have to see that it should be 5,000, it should be written here. So by bank, what should be the remaining amount? Here the total figure is 10,200. So here also it should come 10,200. And if you are taking 0, 0, 0, 0, here this also 0, 13th, 9, 22, 2, 213, 358, 82 are 10. So 2,900 is to be deposited with bank. Here we have to write down here 2 bank, 2 cash, here 2,900. Here we have to write down contra entry. Here also you have to get a reference of contra entry. So it is balanced 10,200, 10,200, and cash is here 15,000. Your is your closing balance with bank. How much? 15,000 plus 2,900. So this is 17,900. Here also it should come 17,900. Here the closing balance of bank will be remaining 3,000. After giving remaining 3,000, we have to write down closing balance 14,900. This closing balance of 18th, and your discount column has remained blanks because no discount have been availed or allowed to others. If it is availed, it is to be written here in the discount column. If it is what allowed to customers, then it is to be recorded in the debit side because it is an expenditure if we are doing the same. And this closing balance by closing here For 19th May, it should be treated as an opening balance. Opening balance of cash will be 5,000 and bank balance will be 14,900. Discount 0, here 0. Discounted 0. Cash balance, cash has been balanced and bank has also been balanced as 17,900, and we are getting the closing balance of cash is 5,000 with us and bank balance of rupees 14,900. This is the way through which we can maintain our triple column best cash book in a standardized way. What remains constant in every nook and corner of this globe, but sometimes exception prevails everywhere. Likewise, we can have our practice, but maintaining the consistency and standard and norms of the particular land in which on which our business sustains. Thank you.